we have to identify how many number of days he was in India and whether he is going to satisfy the conditions as laid down by the Income Tax Act. What was my basic condition? I should stay in India 182 days or more, but during previous year I've stayed only 167 days. So first basic condition I couldn't satisfy. Warm welcome to 5th Sem B.Ba student. The subject is income tax. The Unit 2, residential status and incidence of tax. In our previous session, we have discussed about the residential status of an individual, and we have ascertained and we have determined the status of individual for the previous year 2022-23. I'm Professor Rajesh L.R. from Department of Commerce and Management, Vidhyaashram, First Grade College, Temple of Excellence, MYSURU. Today's session, we are going to solve certain problems to analyze or determine the residential status of an individual for previous year, whether he is a resident, ordinary resident, resident, not ordinary resident, or non-resident for purpose of income tax only and not for any citizenship year. So only for the purpose of paying tax, we are going to identify what is the residential status of an individual. I'm Mr. X, citizen of India. I'm leaving India for the first time on 10th April 2020. See here, 10th April 2020 is where I'm leaving first time India. It says that one, preceding to that one, that is nothing but 1920, and preceding to all the years I was in India only. Only I left on 10th April 2020 and I'm returning back on 10th March 2021. See here, when I left 10th April 2020, I left, and 10th March 2021, I returned back India first time. Second time, again I left India. Again I left India on 26th June 2022, and I've returned back on 10th January 23. Means this is my previous year and this is my preceding previous year. We have to identify how many number of days he was in India and whether he is going to satisfy the conditions as laid down by the Income Tax Act. Name of the assessee, Mr. X. First time left India on official work to Germany. Date of leaving India, 10th April 2020, 10th March 2021. This is preceding previous year, that is 2020-21. Preceding previous year, 21-22, I was in India. Previous year, I left India on 26th. I left India on 26th June 22 and returned back on 10th January 2023. So this is my concept, what we have here. Solution, let us calculate or determine the number of days of stay in India during previous year. 2022-23, so total number of days we have here 365. So if I want to satisfy the basic condition, person should stay in India for a period of 182 days or more during previous year. This is a condition. So my previous year starts from 1st April 2022 and 31st March 2023 is the period. So when I left India during previous year, 26th June 2022, and I returned back on 10th January 2023. So now, when it says in the month of June, I'm leaving, April, 30 days I was in India, May, 31 days I was in India. When I'm leaving, 26th June, so 25th up to 25th of June, I was in India. When I'm returning? January. So in the month of July, I was not in India. August, I was not in India. September, I was not in India. October, I was not in India. November, I was not in India. December, I was not in India. And from 10th January, there afterwards, I was in India. So in January, we have 31 days minus 9, we have to make it. Up to 9th of January, I was not in India. From 10th onwards, I'm in India. So it is nothing but 22 days in the month of January, I was in India. February, 28 days. March, 31 days. So now, 30, 60, 80, 86. 86, 88, 96, 97, 127, 147, 167. So how many days I was in India? 167. 30, 60, 80, 100, 150, 160, 161, 166, 167 days. So I was in India during previous year 167 days. What was my basic condition? I should stay in India 182 days or more, but during previous year, I've stayed only 167 days. So first basic condition, I couldn't satisfy. So one basic condition, I couldn't satisfy during previous year. So then what is the second basic condition we have here? Second basic condition, it says that when 60 days or more during previous year and 365 days in 4 preceding previous year. So now, during 2022-23, I've stayed in India for 167 days. So I've satisfied half of the basic condition, second basic condition. What is the remaining of is there? A person should stay in India for a period of 365 days or more in 4 preceding previous year. 2021-22, I was in India. I was in India. 2020-21, I left India on 10th April 2020 and returned back on 10th March 2021. 10th March 2021. So in the month of April, I was in India for 9 days. May 0, June 0, July 0, August 0, September 0, October 0, November 0, December 0, January 0, February 0, March I returned back on 10th, so 22 days. So totally 31 days I was in India. During 2020-21, I was in India 31 days. Before that, I was in India for 365 and 365 days. So now, so what is the number of days? It should be total 365, where I'm more than that one. So I've satisfied my second half of the basic condition. So I've satisfied one basic condition. When I've satisfied one basic condition, they're going to call me as a resident. 7 preceding previous year, this is the first additional condition. It says that one should stay in India for a period of 730 days or more in 7 preceding previous year. 2021-22, I was in India 365 days. 2020-21, I was there only for 31 days, and 365, I was in India 365, and 366. 7 preceding previous year, what we have here, 5, 6, 12, 22, 27, 33, 3 carry, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 42, 2, 4 carry, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6 3s are 18 plus 4, 22. I was in India for a period of 2,223 days. But what is the condition we have here? 730 days. So I've satisfied my first additional condition. If I'm staying in India for a period of 365 days, my residential status will be resident. And here I was only for 31 days. My status is non-resident, resident, 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 resident. So my status is resident for 6 years out of 7 preceding previous years. What is my second additional condition we have here? My status should be resident for 2 years out of 10 preceding previous year. Here, 2065, 21-22, I was in India for a period of 365 days. I have satisfied basic conditions as both the basic conditions, residential status. 2020-21, I was in India for a period of 31 days. So, I have not satisfied both the basic condition. Residential status will be non-resident. 1920, I was in India for 366. And here 365 and 365, 365, 366, leap year 365, 365 and 365. So I've satisfied both the basic condition in all the preceding previous year. So my status will be here. My status will be resident, 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 and resident. So out of 10 preceding previous year, my residential status is 9 years. So what it should be? 2 years. So I've satisfied my second additional condition also. So stay in India for a period of 182 days during previous year. I couldn't satisfy my first basic condition. I've satisfied my second basic condition. I've satisfied first additional condition. I've satisfied second additional condition. Therefore, my status will be resident, ordinary resident. My status for 2022-23 will be resident, ordinary resident. This is how we have to calculate and we have to give the conclusion. Let us take one more problem. I'm leaving India on 19th September 2020 and I've returned back to India 10th February 2021. Again, I left India on 29th September 2022 and I've returned back on 25th December 2022. So what is my status? Whether I'm a resident, ordinary resident, resident, not ordinary resident, or a non-resident. So we have to determine the status for 2022-23. I have to calculate for 2022-23 status resident, ordinary or not ordinary, or a non-resident. So now let us write first concept here. Name of the assessee. Name of the assessee, Mr. X. Date of leaving India. Date of leaving India. We'll make it 2 boxes here. 2 boxes here. Date of leaving India. Date of returning back. Date of returning back to India. First time when I left 19th September 2020. I returned back to India on 10th February 2021. Again, I left India on 29th September 2022, returned back 25th December 2022. So this is the thing where I was not in India. During this period, I was not in India. So we have to analyze clearly. So this is the dates where I left India and I was not in India. Our previous year is 1/4/2022 to 31st March 2023. So let us determine. So during previous year, we have 365 days. whether I'm going to satisfy my first basic condition or not. Let us check that in. During previous year, when I left, 29th September, I left India. 25th December 22, I returned back to India. So in the month of April, 30 days I was in India. May, 31 days I was in India. June, 30 days I was in India. July, I was in India. August, I was in India. September, I left on 29, so I was in India for 28 days. October, I was not in India. November, I was not in India. December 25th, I came, so I was in India for 7 days. January, I was in India. February, I was in India. March, I was in India. 30, 60, 90, 120, 150, 170, 181 days. 181 days. 30, 50, 80, 90, 97. So 181 plus 97. So it will be 278 days. So 278 days during previous year. So I've satisfied my first basic condition. So what is my second basic condition? 60 days. How many days I've stayed here? 278 days. So I've satisfied half of the basic condition. During 2021-22, I was in India. During 2020-21, I was not in India from September. April, I was in India. May, I was in India. June, I was in India. July, I was in India. August, I was in India. September, 18 days, I was in India. October, no. November, I was not in India. December, I was not in India. When I returned back, February. January, I was not in India. February 10th, I returned back. So from 10 to 28 days means, so I was in India 19 days. March, I was in India. So it will be 30, 60, 90, 120, 150, 160, 170, 200, 210, 220. So I was in India for 220 days. So 220 days, 365, 366 and 365 days. So how many days I should stay? Total 365. I've satisfied even my second basic condition. So what is my first additional condition we have here? I should stay for a period of 730 days. During 2021-22, 365 and here 220 and here 366, 365 and 365, 365, 366. 5, 11, 5 plus 6, 11, 26, 31, 37, 3 carry. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 18, 20, 23. 2 carry. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 18, 20, 22. So I was in India for a period of 2,237 days. I've satisfied first additional condition. So my status 365 days I was in India means I've satisfied both the basic condition, resident, resident, resident. In all the 7 preceding previous year, my status was resident. Number of days I was in India, 365 days, 220 days, 366 days, 365 days, 365 days, 365 days, 366 days, 365 days, 365 days, 365. I've satisfied both the basic condition. I've satisfied both the basic condition by staying 365 days, 366 days or 220 days during my 10 preceding previous year. So my status will be resident in all the 10 preceding previous year. So what they have said, resident for 2 years. I'm here 10 out of 10. So I've satisfied my second additional condition also. Stay in India for 182 days. So I've stayed for 278 days. I've satisfied my first basic condition. Second basic condition satisfied. Additional condition satisfied. Additional condition, second one is satisfied. Therefore, my status will be resident, ordinary resident for 2022-23. This is how we have to determine the residential status of an individual. In the next session, we are going to solve little more problems where we are going to learn and understand the concepts easily. Thank you to all 5th Sem BBA students. In today's session, we have discussed about residential status of an individual.